It is 5 o'clock somewhere, and you've tuned in to Season 3, Episode 12 of BRC. For those of you who'd like to watch this episode, I highly recommend it. You can view Season 3 on our website, YouTube, Spotify, WhiskeyNetwork.net, and Zencastr. I'm Carrie Moynihan, and in today's Tales from the Still, I speak with David Blackmore about A Tale of Tokyo. Then later in the show, documentary film director Greg Schwartz joins me in Whiskey Whereabouts to tell us about his latest spirited projects. So kick up your shoes, pour yourself a dram, and join me for this episode of Barrel Room Chronicles.
Unleashed Coffee is a farm-to-cup adventure like no other. Step into a world where exceptional flavors, tantalizing aromas, and rich mouthfeel take you on a journey from your kitchen to the picturesque coffee plantations at origin. At Unleashed Coffee, we believe in fostering connections between coffee lovers and the hardworking farmers behind each bean. Join the journey through our coffee subscription program and gain access to our exclusive online community, connecting you to fellow enthusiasts and the producers of your morning brew. To help you extract every nuance of flavor from our beans, take part in our on-demand coffee brewing courses right in the comfort of your own home. If you are seeking B2B coffee solutions that go beyond just beans, our comprehensive wholesale packages cater to the diverse needs of mobile carts, farm stands, restaurants, cafes, retail shelves, and more. Look no further than Unleashed Coffee to quench your thirst for quality coffee. Use coupon code COFFEEBRC at the checkout to receive 10% off your first purchase at unleashedcoffee.com.
Today's Tales from the Still is brought to you by Manscaped.com. No more juggling multiple tools or dealing with subpar results. Just efficient, effective grooming whenever he needs it. Get 20% off plus free shipping when you use code BARRELROOM at the checkout. David, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. It's great to be here.
It's great to have you. Haven't had you on the show since we were on Spirits of Whiskey, I think, and that was audio only back then.
Yes, absolutely. I had to make myself look vaguely presentable today. So.
No, I loved it. I got your text. Oh, is this going to be filmed? I said, yes, do your hair.
And then I put on my favorite ugly shirt that's got cocktails all over it, which my wife absolutely hates. But
I love it. It's adorable. So I remember when I was doing the podcast originally during the pandemic, I would just roll out of bed, sit in front of the computer in my pajamas, hair's a mess, didn't matter. And now I went video and I'm like, oh, I have to do my hair, I have to do my makeup, I have to do the whole thing. So, yes. But it's well worth it because I love being able to see my guests and talk live, and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
David, for those of you who didn't know the old show or who haven't listened to the old show, give us a little bit background on you and what you do over at Glenmorangie.
Yeah, so my name's David Blackmore. I am born and raised originally in Edinburgh, Scotland, but for the last 18 years I've been based in the US. Initially as East Coast Regional Ambassador for Glenmorangie, and that kind of morphed into now I'm for several years now. I've been Global Brand Ambassador for Glenmorangie and Ardbeg. In addition to that, I run a small team of ambassadors in the US across the country who represent both Glenmorangie and Ardbeg. So it's all Glenmorangie and Ardbeg all the time.
I love it. It's a good thing that you've got some good whiskeys to be dealing with. So last time we had you on, we talked about the Tale of Cake, and we've had many tales since, I believe.
We've had a couple, yeah.
Absolutely. So how many were in between Tales of Cake and one we're talking about today? Which was
Tokyo today, yeah. Tokyo. Yeah, the Tale of Tokyo is the fourth now, and so we had Tale of Cake to kick it off. We've had Tale of Winter, and last year we had Tale of Forest.
Oh, wow.
And this year Tokyo. And the idea is that to be a bit more outgoing in terms of the storytelling behind how these whiskies were created. Our master distiller, Bill Lumsden, is a really creative guy. He takes inspiration from all sorts of places, things, foods, experiences, and just about anything could spark an idea for a new whiskey. So we thought it would be better. We ran the private edition range for 10 years. We kind of put that to bed and thought we'd like to do something that really kind of gives a bit more of an essence of the kind of zany world of Dr. Bill and his whiskey creations, I guess.
I love it. So Can you tell us, I know we're here to talk about Tale of Tokyo, but can you tell us a little bit about Forest and Winter real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. Winter was, I guess, just that kind of inspiration and that feeling of the weather right now in Scotland, where there's actually quite a lot of snow, and it's been quite cold quite early. Dr. Bill lives outside of Edinburgh in the countryside and loves going for long walks. And that idea of coming back from that walk and sitting fireside with a warming glass of single malt Scotch whiskey. So we wanted to make a single malt, a Glenmorangie, that kind of reminded him of that tasted almost like a fireside chat and kind of festive, spicy but delicious, rich things. Kind of smells of wafting in from the kitchen, I guess.
Nice.
Something like that. Yeah. And then Taylor Forest combined again, I think particularly spurred by the years of lockdown, where Bill, who always loves to walk, really, kind of for his mental health, like a lot of us, got out and did quite a lot of walking in the countryside near where he lives in outside of Edinburgh, and a lot of that is through the forests there, and that kind of smell, that sort of sense of walking through a forest, the kind of piney notes, all those different sort of herbaceous notes that you'd get in walking through a forest in Scotland. And this is Taylor Forest right here. Bit of an experiment here using botanicals that may be growing on the top of the peat, and just including everything, including when we cut the peat, everything that's on top of it. So historically, we've got some evidence that it was done in the past, and that's kind of how we managed to get away with it, I guess. But really something different, a lightly peated and influenced by the botanicals, Glenmorangie, Taylor Forest.
So they don't usually keep the top layer when they make the peat?
Not usually, no.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So this one actually just in the last couple of days, even though it's last year's release, just came in the top 20 whiskies of the year from Whiskey Advocate. So
oh wow, that's awesome.
We're excited by that. I think it came in at number 9. I apologize if I got that wrong and you were number 9, but I think it was 8 or 9. I think it was 9 for Taylor Forest.
I love the label on it too. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, so really beautiful labels and kind of the artwork now moving forward, trying to really tell the story and working with artists to do that. So really, really beautiful gifting opportunity as well.
So basically, these are all pretty much one-offs, right? So if you see it, you should grab it because you might not see it ever again.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we're only producing one cask worth of it, but yes, it's a one production run, and once it's gone, it's gone. Everything, all the Taylor Forest that we've made is out there, either in people's homes or maybe in retail outlets or bars still. But yeah, we are certainly well and truly done with Taylor Forest, and we're on to Taylor Tokyo now. And actually, Taylor Tokyo has been out a little while, and myself and Bill and the team in Scotland, we're already focusing quite heavily on next year, which I can't tell you.
Well, you can tell me when it comes out, so you'll have to be back on when that happens.
No, absolutely, I'd love to. So that'll be the 5th. There's definitely going to be at least a 5th, and certainly I think a few more.
Well, I love the box that this comes in. For those of you, let me see if I'm
glad you have that, because I only managed to grab my hands on today the mini bottles, which don't come in a box and don't really have any of that beautiful artwork.
Do you have any minis in the Forest in winter?
I think there was minis of Forest, whether or not I probably have some around here somewhere, but yeah, they were never for sale though. These were really for like press samples and such like. So, but the full size bottle, there's Tokyo, beautiful.
Yeah,
right?
It's gorgeous too.
The artwork, you see more of it on the box as well, was hand drawn, and it's kind of trying to represent Bill's thoughts about Tokyo. And in fact, Dr. Bill himself features 5 times in the artwork. So it's a bit like Where's Waldo?
What?
You need to find the Dr. Bill.
There are little people over here. I see that.
Yeah, absolutely. So
I'm going to have to get my magnifying glass here. Oh, I love it. I loved Where's Waldo. I always thought that was really fun.
Yeah, I loved it too. Good fun, right?
So how do you make flavor of a city? Is what I would like.
Exactly. I mean, it's more about the kind of about the inspiration from the city. So Bill has spent at least 20 years of his career doing a lot of travel, and a lot of that necessarily has been going out to Japan, which is probably the country he loves the most. And of that, a lot of his time spent in Tokyo. And his inspiration really came from observing that Tokyo, and I've only been twice, but I would totally agree with this. Tokyo is an absolute city of contrasts. 1 second you're in the most ultra-modern place you've ever experienced in your life. You're literally expecting to see a flying car go past or something, But then the next second, you'll turn a corner, or your guests will take you after a lunch where you're served by robots. You might end up in a peaceful garden that's 500 years old, and you can't hear anything. You hear a pin drop in there, very zen, almost. And so the contrast of the very, very hectic, ultra modern, and the incredibly peaceful, traditional side of Tokyo is where the kind of thought process started. And then, more matter of fact, in terms of the makeup of the whiskey itself, Bill managed to get his hands on Mizunara Japanese oak.
Nice.
Great, right? I mean, everybody's clamoring for it. But, I think it's fair to say that Mizunara oak gives a very intense influence. It's not shy and retiring. It can give a lot of influence to any spirit that it's introduced to. And Glenmorangie being really quite a soft, subtle, complex, laid-back single malt, especially with our 10-year-olds. These two things just should not work very well. And so Bill was very, very cautious about his approach, but inspired by this idea of Tokyo. Tokyo is absolutely mad, bedlam, ultra-modern, loud and noisy, and peaceful and ancient and tranquil all at the same time. So that's what he's trying to kind of bring out here. Just enough bright spots of the influence, big punchy bursts of the influence of the Mizunara, but underneath it all, this contrast of the absolutely soft, rounded, comforting Glenmorangie original kind of house style in there as well. And now, I think he's nailed it. Of course. But
for this entire series, is he using the same mash bill, or is it different mash bills for each one?
Well, good question. Yes and no. Mash bill and fermentation experiments may or may not play a part in it. The one where some things are clearly different is Taylor Forest, where the barley's been smoked with, the absolute top surface layer of peat. So that's clearly a difference. The other three, there's no difference at all. It's been classic Glenmorangie new make, and then it's to do with the combination of barrel types more than anything with those. Right. So with Tale of Cake, it was the Hungarian oak. With Winter, it was influenced from sherry casks. Forest was obviously the one where we are messing with the elements of flavor coming from the new spirit and distillation. And now we're back to Tokyo, where absolutely it's the classic Glenmorangie spirit. A lot of it's classic Glenmorangie spirit right through, including aging in American White Oak ex-bourbon ex-Tennessee whiskey casks. It's this component that's been in the Mizunara casks that is bringing the difference. There's a little bit of spirit also in sherry casks, I believe, probably refill sherry casks, and that's just to kind of bring the balance back a bit.
Yeah, that's what it says here. Yeah. So can you tell us how long it sat in the Mizunara cask?
I can't, I'm afraid. These are the things Bill, everybody asks, including me, to Bill, and he's keeping it pretty zip. Yeah. But I could give you my guesstimate, but I would get myself in trouble, and it's meaningless because I have no idea if I'm right. It's an educated guess, but I don't think it would be incredibly short. I think it's been a good number of years, but it's more about the component parts, the percentages that he's working on there.
Yeah,
would be my guess.
So we talked a little bit prior to getting on air about this wonderful cabinetry that you have behind you, and I'm just still in awe.
Thank you.
And for those of you at home, this is not some shop. He is actually at home. This is his home, his home bar there.
It is. Don't let anyone know where I live exactly.
No. He lives in Utah. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's
right. So what is that, like your whole collection? Is it all Scotch? Is it all kinds of spirits? What do you have back there?
What I've done is that just one wall of the room has been done so far, just based on available funds. And in these, the best cabinets, the rest, with the other side, it's just kind of IKEA block shelving. And I've tended to put my my collection of Glenmorangie and Ardbeg on this side. I've run out of space already. It's kind of piling around the floor and everything. And then I have plans for the next 2 walls down this way and behind the camera as well. But the other 2 walls right now have a much more eclectic selection of, obviously our sister brand, Woodenville, is well represented over here. But what am I looking at? I can see some Teelings. I can see a lot of High West. I can see some single cask nation bottles. There's a corner there that seems to be very Diageo heavy with Lagavulins and all sorts. So yeah, I'm employed by Glenmorangie and Ardbeg. They're definitely close to my heart, and I love them. I wouldn't work for a company I didn't absolutely believe in the products. But I am a whiskey fan first and foremost. There are a few other things. There's a couple of bottles of what I see. I can't see much else. There's maybe a bottle of. There's some Amaro and even a bottle of vodka over there.
Is there any vodka, wine, beer, anything else in there?
There's some wine in here. There is some beer that I probably should have drunk, but I've fallen into the trap of not opening them because they're signed by the brewmaster, or whatever you would. Is that brewmaster? Is that the right term?
I think so.
Yeah. And they're probably. Yeah, I probably have left them too long, so now they're kind of trophy bottles, sadly. Bits and bobs. Mostly whiskey, but from all over the world. I'm very, very into my single malt Scotch. There, I have to say. Yes. I'm biased.
And you do reside in the U.S., so we will give the audience a little bit of that.
I reside in the
U.S. So how long? I know we talked about this when you were on Spirits of Whiskey, but how long have you been in the States? And the state that you are currently in, how long have you been in that particular state?
So I arrived in the States with a one-way ticket from Edinburgh on the 16th of September 2005.
Okay.
Two suitcases, and it was going to be a 3-year stint. And about 2 years into that, I was at an event representing Glenmorangie and Ardbeg in San Francisco, and met this young lady, and moved forward all these years later, married to her with 2 kids, and living very far away from New Jersey because of her work, basically. So, yeah.
So did you stay in San Francisco for a while, or she was just visiting San Francisco as well?
She lived there, and we did a long distance relationship for about a year, and then she just decided she was moving east and moving in. That was that. So yeah,
that's fantastic.
She's probably regretting that move ever since, I suspect. Although she did surprise me with getting this built whilst I was on a trip to Australia.
She must love you then.
So there must be something, yeah.
Yeah, that's because most women are like, oh, you get your man cave out of here. And
she actually doesn't really drink anything very much. But when we have people around to the house, she, more than me, because you know what it's like, when you work in the booze industry, sometimes you just want to just not have to talk shop when you. If we have friends over at the weekend or whatever, she's the one who's like, let's go use the whiskey room.
I love it.
I'd quite like a glass of red wine, actually, but never mind.
That's great. That's fantastic. So I see you have another bit of range on the left of you. Yeah. So tell me about those. That looks like the 10-year, the 12, the 15, and the 14.
So I just wanted to point out how obviously if you're a fan of Glenmorangie or even just see it in passing, you kind of missed the fact that our packaging and label has fairly drastically changed.
Very much.
And I think the liquid is still the liquid everyone knows and loves, but the packaging was just we realized we needed to stand out a bit more on the shelf, and that's really what it's partly about, and about just trying to be a bit more inclusive and open to a diverse audience who may not have considered Glenmorangie in the past, put off by preconceived ideas of Scotch whisky and Glenmorangie, and that we're just trying to move the needle a bit there. So Glenmorangie Original, our 10-year-old, now looks like this.
It's beautiful.
Still the same beautiful liquid. Bottle has changed in shape, a little bit more curvaceous. This I just put in for fun. This was gosh, yeah, this is the Palo Cortado finish. So this
Oh,
is another limited edition.
what's
That is
Palacatado?
Palo Cortado sherry,
Okay,
Kentucky sherry. So, but limited edition. Here's another one. This is the third in the Cadboll Estate range. So
that's a
taking
beautiful label
barley
too.
just from our own fields in Cadboll, just by Glenmorangie House, and just using that barley, which is harvested once a year, can only make about 2 weeks worth of spirit. In the first two editions have just been an ex-bourbon cask. This one also includes a partial finish in Amontillado
Oh,
sherry
nice.
casks. So
Okay.
that one's an interesting one. And then, of course, the Quinta Ruban, which for most of its life, our port cask finish has been a 12-year-old. A few years back went to a 14, staying as a 14, but now with the new label as well. And the same, it's always had that green and black color scheme over the years, pretty much. So that's the Quinta right now.
What's the retail on that one ish?
Oh gosh, I'm so bad with numbers. What are we at? We're probably about 65 to $69, I
Oh,
believe,
that's
on
not
the
too bad.
Quinta.
Okay. And is that widely available?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, in fact, the Quinta Ruban, and I'll probably get shot by some of the real whiskey nerds here for even suggesting this. But back to my wife, my wedding day cocktail was a blood and sand, which I know. Well, I know certain fairly high profile bartenders and writers have had a bit of a axe to grind. They've had it out for the blood and sand, but I'm here to defend it. And I think, joking aside, I think the blood and sand can be awful if it's not made really well. But if you make it really well, it's a really good cocktail, and it's about getting the good ingredients. For me, Quinta Ruban and blood orange juice are absolute essentials to make a good blood and sand. And my old buddy Ben Scora, who some people may know, he was based in New York. I think he's now West Coast based. He got me into blood and sands, and when he was bartending and managing bars in New York. And I, to this day, I think he makes the best one. So there you go.
Wonderful. That's awesome. I know if anyone out there watches the Cocktail Guru, we just did a Tipple Time segment on the Blood and Sand. So if you don't know how to make one, you can go ahead and catch that on the Cocktail Guru.
I'm going to do that actually because I'm notoriously. You only have to ask my wife. I'm getting better. COVID helped me, but I'm terrible at making cocktails.
No.
It's true. I have got better. But I've still a long way to go. I understand the whiskies. I help with the whiskey creation team at Glenmorangie, but cocktails sometimes I try too hard with the balance, and I think.
So the past year or so, I've been really getting into the port finishes. So I'm going to have to get that.
Cool.
That 14.
Cool. Well, we'll make that happen. Sure.
Well, I think it's time we taste the Tokyo. Are we going to taste? You got a pour there? You got a dram?
I've got a pour here of the Tail of Tokyo.
All right.
And I'm very jealous that you've got the full bottle.
Well, you sent it to me. I don't know.
I
know. Send one to yourself next time. Oh wait.
Well, I may have to actually go out and check a few stores around here.
There we go. That's a good cork pop.
Yeah.
All right, I can't have too much of this because we need it for a tipple time actually with Jonathan. Yeah. All right, that's got a good color. It looks very similar to the regular.
Yeah.
10-year color.
Very slightly darker, but yeah, and a lot of notes that you'd expect. There's lots of that soft Glenmorangie kind of coconut vanilla note, but already there's something that kind of every now and then leaps out the glass. It's kind of peppery or
it's got a little spice hint of pop on there.
Mm.
Oh, that smells lovely. And it's got some seriously nice legs. I can see. I'm not using my Glencairn today because I have a branded Glenmorangie.
There you go, fantastic.
The old label though, so when you come out with the new branded glasses, I'll need another one.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're gonna. I don't know if we're allowed to use this on the glassware. Actually, so it may stay like that. I don't know.
It'll go all the way down. It'll fit. It'll fit on the Glencairn because it'll just start at the top and make its way to the base.
I should get it. I should do it. Ask for forgiveness afterwards. Get some.
Call Marty and ask him.
Yeah, well, exactly. I actually already spoke to him about a project I want to do, so I do need to follow up on that already.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, it's good.
I do taste the Mizunara. That's very nice. But it is, as you said, it's not like a huge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like it. I don't know. I feel like maybe it was a 6-month pass in the barrel. That's what I'm going to guess.
No, I'd be surprised if it was anything that infrequent. Bill is on record as saying he's not into these super short finishes usually. My guess would be it would be a few years.
Really?
In there.
Okay.
And then,
well, I don't know how potent the Mizunara is on the cask, so I guess.
Yeah, I heard him say that Mizunara tends to be actually also quite a slow. It ends up influencing a lot, but it kind of goes through waves of lots of influence and then a bit less. So I would say there's likely to have a few years on there, but then it's about the percentage of that component part that he's using in conjunction with classic Glenmorangie that's not aged in Mizunara that's bringing the balance back. I would guess.
That is absolutely wonderful. I'm going to have to get myself.
It's got bright spots of almost like bitter cherry. I get from time to time.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm. I'm so bad at I taste things, and then until somebody says what it is, I'm like, that's what it is. I'm very bad at. In fact, I just got back from Thanksgiving. I took a whirlwind trip for 2 weeks, so I don't think I'm going to do Christmas with the family. But I did my mom, my brother, then my sister's family. Then I went up to Washington to my cousin's family, and while I was there, my cousin had gotten for the kids this thing at Trader Joe's, which was like this long box of different chocolates, and they were all filled with different types of filling. And I was like, I wish I was going to be good at this, but I'm not, because I'm so bad at naming flavors. And the kids all beat me. There was one that was like, it had a pear or something in it. And I'm like, this tastes like soap. So we played the game, and I was the one who got the least things. And I thought for sure I was going to win, but no.
I think clearly it sounds like you are able to detect them. You're just not be able to put a name to them, which that's just practice. That's practice makes perfect. And Dr.
All right, I'll keep drinking. Twist my arm.
Well, keep drinking, but also the weird one of the. Well, I was going to say the weirdest thing to do with Dr. Bill, but if you know him, that's not true. Lots of weird things with him. One of the strange things, if you go to like when I've been in New York with him, he loves Italy, for example. And we'll walk around Italy or a supermarket if we're somewhere else, and he loves just picking up things and sniffing them. And it's just about, he's constantly thinking about aroma and flavor. And that's training his vocabulary. And it's also genuinely giving him inspiration potentially for another whiskey down the road.
That's
doing
awesome.
It yeah.
I'm going to have to start doing that. I'm going to have to. What I should do is I should walk around with a little notepad and then just sniff things and go, that's what this is.
You don't have to get funny looks when you walk around like Whole Foods with a notebook, squeezing and sniffing every single fruit.
Okay. I love it. Well, David, this has been fantastic. I love the Tale of Tokyo. I love your home bookcase bar setup. That's fantastic. So the next time I'm in your state, I may have to come by.
Please do.
I do have cousins in that state as well. So
awesome. Sounds good.
So
please do.
thank you so much for being on the show today. Thanks for highlighting the Tale of Tokyo for everybody out there. This was absolutely fantastic. I've had a lot of Mizunara cask finishes lately. This one I'm going to say is my favorite. This is very good.
Awesome.
Very good.
Awesome.
So thank you so much, and we will talk to you soon.
Great. Thanks for having me. Bye.
Don't touch that device. We'll be right back with Whiskey Whereabouts. Sizzle alert. This summer, let the only thing smoking at your barbecue be the grill and not your man's grooming game. Get ready for the ultimate cookout season with Manscaped.com. Whether he's flipping burgers or cannonballing into the pool, make sure he looks neat with the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra. The star of the show is the Lawnmower 5.0 below-the-waist trimmer. It's got wireless charging, it's waterproof, and thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology, it's really smooth. The kit also includes the Crop Preserver deodorant and the Crop Reviver toner spray. Another popular item is the Weed Whacker hair trimmer. Gentlemen, keep your ears and nose hairs in check, and the women will love you for it. Whether you need grooming tools for your face or body, or just need the best in men's body care products, Manscaped.com has everything you need. Go to Manscaped.com and use code BARRELROOM to get 20% off your order today. That's BARRELROOM for 20% off. In today's Whiskey Whereabouts, we have Greg Schwartz, director of documentary films, The Water of Life, which most of you have probably seen by now. And he's working on a couple of other features. And I hear one of these features now may have turned into a limited series. So, Greg, welcome to the show. Welcome back. So let's figure out what you've been doing since last we spoke here.
Hi. Well, thanks for having me. It's good to be back. I'm made the sort of foolish decision to be making 3 documentaries at the same time, and then to let one of them become a doc series.
Wow.
Which is why I now dream about these things, dream about time codes and proxies and upload files and, all kinds of stuff. Yeah. But it's good. Everything's going well. And we decided a while ago to make a companion film to The Water of Life about Scotland's independent bottlers. And then we decided while we were editing that it was so much good stuff and so interesting that we were going to sort of spin that out into 4 episodes instead of one feature doc.
And are they hour length or?
They're about 40 minutes. They're all a little different in length, but they're about 40 minutes.
Okay.
Each.
So ready for commercial television then.
Yep.
Good. You've got a beer film you're working on, right?
Yep. We're well into post. We've finished shooting a film about Franconian beer. We decided we were going to make a film about German beer. Then we decided, well, the heart of German beer is Bavaria. But then within Bavaria is a region called Upper Franconia. And in Upper Franconia, it's the highest concentration of beer breweries per capita in the world.
Wow.
And what was really interesting to me wasn't just that. And it wasn't just that the beer is really good. 99% of that beer doesn't get exported. You can't even get it in Frankfurt or Berlin or Hamburg.
What?
They just do not export it. These breweries make beer and they sell it at the brewery. Some of them don't even sell it at shops in the same town. They just sell it at their own brewery. It's a ancient business model that has just never changed. And so it's this unique, whole new beer landscape that you can go explore, but you have to go there.
How far is it from Frankfurt?
Probably about a 3-hour train ride from Frankfurt. It's about 2 hours northeast of Munich, about an hour from Nuremberg.
Okay. That's not too bad. I've been to Munich. In fact, I had beer in Munich when I was 18, when I was on my high school graduation trip. We went, and my mother, of course, decided to be a chaperone, and that was, it was fine. But, we were able to drink, and she's like, you can't drink. And I said, but I can, and I will. So I did.
I had a similar experience my senior year of high school. We went to Britain. This was my first time ever in Scotland. And the last minute, the school told it was our school drama club. And the teacher who ran the drama club was the chaperone, the only chaperone. And there was 8 of us. And he said, the school has decided that even though the drinking age in the UK is 18, you guys still can't drink because you're not 21. But he actually then added, however, I'm the only chaperone on this trip, and as long as you behave yourselves, I'm going to need some breaks every night, and so are you. Left it at that.
Nice. That's cool. Yeah. So no, I tried a few things when I was over there when I was 18. I mean, I obviously couldn't get sloshed because I was with my mom, but and my sister and the other people from school. But anyway, so you have the beer, you have the bottling, and you said there's 3 projects you've got going on. What's the third project?
Well, we're still shooting a film that's all about sustainable agriculture, that's built around the world of grain, and how human beings grow, trade, buy, and eat grain. And actually, whiskey was my way into that film. We were just hanging out at Westland Distillery, and they were talking about some of their grain projects.
That sounds like a very Westland skewed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's been a fascinating thing. It's very different than these other films. It's much more, has a sort of a call to action about sustainable agriculture, regenerative agriculture, the way we consume these things and how that dictates the industry and how the industry dictates to the farmers, but also the chefs. And by chefs, in that case, I mean distillers and brewers as well, like people who use the grain to make a product.
So
we've been all over.
Where do you want, if you ideally could put all 3 of these projects anywhere you wanted, and somebody came and said, where do you want it? Let's do it. Where would you put each one of them?
Well, the only one that I don't necessarily think we'll probably do a run with PBS with is the independent bottling series. The reason being it is made by and for whiskey nerds. It requires a sort of commitment to whiskey and curiosity about whiskey that may not be for a good general audience. I think it's a deep audience, but it's not a wide audience.
Right.
The Water of Life we kind of designed to sort of be understandable or relatable to complete newbies, but this is not that. I mean, it's not technical. It's not like we're not talking about the fermentation process or distillation wood impact and stuff on a technical standpoint. It's just it's very much in line with stylistically with the Water of Life. It's just that the Water of Life is kind of built around 6 distilleries. This is built around 43 and counting independent bottlers.
Wow, that's a lot. And those are all in Scotland, or are you doing anywhere else?
The overwhelming majority are in Scotland. We've done a couple in Germany, one in Japan, one here, 2 here, and one in Ireland.
Wow. That's pretty cool. So which project do you think is going to be ready for consumption by the public first?
The beer film.
Okay.
The beer film is going to be done in November. The independent bottling film will be right around the same time, but we will probably roll it out in the new year because we can't get it done in time sort of for holiday season, because it'll be late November kind of thing. And it's just too much work and too many moving parts. So I think we'll do that in the new year, and then Against the Grain in spring of next year.
Great.
That's the Grain film. It's called Against the Grain.
That's a perfect title, I think. So Against the Grain, is that, what do you think? An hour and a half, 40 minutes?
It's going to be about, it's going to be about an 85 minute film.
Oh, great.
My passions lead me, and they lead me into the world of scope creep. And so I keep getting new opportunities to interview people that are just fascinating, and I can't resist. So, but as long as, I'm trusting my instincts on the story more than anything else.
Great. That's fantastic. And these are all Blacksmith and Jones productions, I'm assuming.
Yeah, they are. And it's funny, the independent bottling film is actually going to be branded as part of the Water of Life. It's going to be a Water of Life series, and it grew out of the Water of Life quite organically. Like, we were joking one day while editing that we had enough footage about independent bottling that we could make a separate film. And then we sort of had, the editor and I had a sort of mutual light bulb moment where we sort of turned to each other and were like, wait a minute, what if we really did do that? It'd be a shame to waste 8 days of shooting at Gordon MacPhail. 8
days, my goodness.
Yeah.
That's definitely, you subconsciously put it in for your next project while you were doing the other one.
Yeah. Well, and they were just very generous with their time. Not that other places weren't. It's just other places are smaller or busier, or, sometimes it's a one-person operation, and,
right.
They just don't have time to let a bunch of fools follow them around for a week.
Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm excited to watch the limited series, the beer show, and the Against the Grain. So
thanks.
Yeah. Let us know when they're out, and we'll go ahead and
we will
tell the public where they can find these shows.
We'll scream it from the rooftops. I promise.
That does it for today's show. To read notes on this episode or learn more about our guests, please visit barrelroomchronicles.com. Want to interact with the show or have questions for our guests? Then ask them on our socials or send us an email. Or better yet, leave us a voicemail on our website. If you like what you heard, please rate and subscribe to the podcast. If you really liked it and you want to show your support, buy us a whiskey through our Ko-fi site at ko-fi.com/BRC or become an exclusive member of the Barrel Room Parlor. If you work in the whiskey or spirits industry or just have a deep passion for whiskey and want to share your spirits journey, register to be a guest through our website. Last but not least, please enjoy your spirits responsibly. Thanks for joining me. Until next time, Salangeva.
Barrel Room Chronicles is a production of First Reel Entertainment and is available on Spotify, Apple, Google, iHeartRadio, Amazon, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.